The FNM's Deputy Leader renews calls for campaign finance reform. An Eleuthera woman dies when her vehicle overturns. The Immigration Minister says illegal migration is a constant battle, and trade unionists call on government to address workers' rights. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NV12 Weekend starts right now. News tonight following what he called a slick rollout of the PLP's 2017 election campaign with the government's launch of Stronger Bahamas. Free National Movement Deputy Leader Peter Turnquest is calling for campaign finance reform laws. He also admitted that the FNM can't compete with the governing party's finances heading into campaign season. Paige McCartney tells us in this report about the FNM's financial struggles as it seeks to defeat the PLP in the next general election.
As the saying goes, money wins elections, and political parties in the Bahamas usually have to budget somewhere between $10 and $15 million to run a successful campaign, according to Turnquest, who added that the upcoming election may cost parties as much as $20 million. But Turnquest said the FNM simply doesn't have the deep pockets the PLP will have as the parties gear up for the campaign trail.
There's no doubt that the Progressive Liberal Party will have access to significant amounts of money, in addition to the public treasury, as they've demonstrated with the Strong Bahamas launch. And so we will be challenged in respect to our financial capability. And certainly we invite those people who share our view to assist in helping to defray the cost of an election.
Prime Minister Perry Christie rolled out the Stronger Bahamas public relation campaign during his 2015-2016 budget communication in the House of Assembly last week. Many, including the opposition, have criticized the campaign, which government has budgeted $3.8 million public dollars to fund. While he called it a glossy and slick production, Turnquest said the FNM is not threatened and does not feel the need to catch up.
We are not concerned about that because we believe that when we do present our plan, our vision, that the Bahamian people will be able to see through the fluff that the Progressive Liberal Party is trying to put forward. They will be reminded of the broken promises from 2012 and why it's not wise to rely upon this propaganda, and it's very slick, it is very well done, this propaganda that the PLP is putting forth today, and they will be invited to look at the FNM's plan and to make critical decisions as to how they want to see the country go.
But how does the official opposition intend to compete with strained finances? The party admitted when it came out of the 2012 general election that it was broke and has been spending the past 3 years trying to arrest its liabilities. Turnquest said the FNM has made tremendous headway in reducing the party's debt, indicating that the FNM has been able to get its outstanding bills below $500,000. He said the party is comfortable but still has a ways to go.
Inasmuch as we spend $10 to $15 million, some say this one can go to $20 million on a campaign. To most sensible, right-thinking Bahamians, that's got to be obscene, because that's a lot of money that could be used to other good, that really benefits people, that really puts in place programs that helps alleviate some of the suffering throughout this country. So we have to take a look at this whole idea of campaign finance reform. Additionally, we do not want to get into the situation, as we have in this last election administration, where money seems to dictate policy. It's a very dangerous thing. When people put up their money, they expect a certain result.
Turnquest said despite what appears to be an aggressive political launch with Stronger Bahamas, the FNM has a strategy and will roll out its campaign at its own pace.
We have completed our strategic document with respect to how we want to identify select candidates. We are well into completing our vision for the Bahamas 2017 and beyond. And we are working our plan.
The FNM Deputy Leader said what the last general election campaign and now the Stronger Bahamas launch has proven is the need for campaign finance reform. For MB12 Weekend, I'm Paige McCartney.
The island of Eleuthera recorded its second traffic fatality for the year this morning after a car careened off Queens Highway and overturned in nearby bushes, killing a woman in her early 30s. At the scene, Superintendent Christopher Wright told NB12 officers received reports of the incident shortly after 9 a.m. and upon arrival at the scene discovered the woman's body outside the wrecked car.
They discovered a light blue Volkswagen overturned in the bushes. We then made check of the area and the body of the lifeless female was found just outside of the vehicle. What I can say to you now is that individual is a resident of Eleuthera. We know who she is. She's in her early 30s, and we are just waiting to inform the next of kin, and then we will make the official identification.
Police say the car, a 2002 Volkswagen, had careened several feet off the main road. It was an emotional scene as the woman's body was removed from the area. Wright said police believe speed was a factor in the tragic accident.
We know for a fact that speed played its role in this fatality this morning, and we continue to ask members of the public, particularly during these holiday periods, to just slow down because speed kills and seatbelt saves lives.
From the crime beat, 3 overnight shooting incidents left 3 people in hospital. The latest incident happened around 10 last night when a gunman standing in the road opened fire on a man driving along Mini Street in a Hyundai Accent. The victim was shot multiple times and was rushed to hospital, where he is listed in serious condition. About an hour before that, police say a man was walking on Peter Street when he was shot to the hip. He's in hospital in stable condition. And earlier in the afternoon, around 1 p.m., a man was at Ida Street when he was shot multiple times. He was transported to hospital in private vehicle and is said to be in critical condition. Police are now appealing to anyone with information regarding these latest shootings to contact them anonymously at 911-919 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. On the heels of 2 recent illegal landings in Eleuthera in 2 vessels containing more than 70 Haitian migrants, Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell said he expects some of the women and children apprehended to be repatriated today. He said the remaining migrants apprehended in Eleuthera will be repatriated next week. Mitchell said illegal migration remains a constant battle for the Bahamas, but immigration officials remain focused.
It's a constant battle with this whole migrant problem. And we have the equipment, we have the manpower, and we just have to keep at it.
2 Haitian migrants died and 73 others were apprehended in Eleuthera this week. Mitchell said government is resolute in its fight against illegal migration, but noted there are those who work against the cause, including Bahamians who assist illegal migrants for monetary gain.
Part of the issue, of course, is that you have Bahamians who are driving this because it's a money-making enterprise for them. And then you have this other community that's trying to tie the government up in knots in the court by one foolish action after the next. That's really just working against our interests. But we keep at it. I mean, regardless of what they do, we keep at it. And we're just going to keep at it. Fast as they come, they're going back home.
Government introduced new immigration policies last November in a continued effort to combat illegal migration. The policies were met with criticism here and abroad. Mitchell explained the new policies are a way to manage the problem, but eliminating it is not something the Bahamas can do alone.
You can only manage the problem. I mean, I don't think you could actually stop it, because what's driving it is the fact that we have a better economy in this country. And the economy in Haiti is just much poorer than ours. So they keep coming here looking for a better way of life. This is a country that is not difficult to migrate to lawfully, where there are labor needs. We just have to stop this illegal migration. And I mean, we're determined to do it.
While the business community is relieved, government has chosen not to roll out a comprehensive universal health care scheme all at once. CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Edison Sumner, said there are still too many unanswered questions about NHI.
It's good to know that they have taken some of our recommendations so far and that is considering this not to be something you can roll out on day one, right? That would have, I think, would have been a catastrophic mistake that the government would have made to try and roll out a full NHI or universal health coverage on day one. Could not happen. So now that they have indicated that they're going to do this over a 5 or so year period, then that makes a lot more sense to us.
Sumner said the business community is anxious to hear the details of the first phase of NHI. Prime Minister Christie announced during his budget communication in the House of Assembly last week there would be no new taxes to fund NHI at this time. Government will spend $180 million on NHI over the next 3 years. That amounts to $60 million per year. However, Sumner said that figure is unrealistic.
It only makes sense for them to use the funds that are being spent on healthcare currently and transferring those funds to an NHI type scheme, right? But there still has to be, I see the government indicated in the budget communication that there was some $200 million set aside for capital development, right, throughout the country. And included in that was the cost of improving the health systems, right, at least the physical infrastructure. Not sure if that's going to be sufficient funds to do that, even through a private-public partnership. So there may have to be some additional resources identified to cover the cost of strengthening the health system.
International consultants have advised government that national health insurance would cost $362 million on the low end to implement and $633 million on the high end. Sumner said he hopes government engages the chamber as it moves forward with implementation.
There was mention of the new, I think it's called a task force that's been established, and that task force has an advisory committee attached to it, and it was indicated that there will be participation from the private sector. We're hoping that that's the chamber, because we were engaged initially on an advisory committee that seemed to have been made defunct, right? So we're not sure exactly what's happening to that. So we're anxious to see what the new structure is going to be. I see that there's been a report that there will be a new CEO appointed to oversee the process of implementation of NHI. Again, hadn't heard about that before, but it's interesting to find out who that person is and how, what approach they want to take to getting this done, and how they intend to bring together the government, the private sector, the employers and the employees, etc., to make this happen.
You're watching the best in Bahamian news. There's more when MB12 returns.
Life's best moments deserve the best flavors. Enjoy the life you crave with the irresistible taste of KFC chicken. And now get 9 pieces of chicken for only $19.99. Mix them up, share them up, or simply enjoy the taste of the world's best chicken. Pick up your 9-piece today for $19.99. Only at KFC Nassau. So good.
Serenity is a private residential development by Solomon Brothers Limited, providing the perfect opportunity for an affordable real estate investment in New Providence. We have lots starting at just $120,000 as well as turnkey home packages. Serenity's model homes are designed to specifically capture the essence of islands living. Feature amenities include a community clubhouse, separate adult and children's swimming pools, parks, and tennis courts. For more information, call our on-site sales office at 362-6032 or visit our website today at serenitydevelopment.net.
Welcome back. Bahamas Public Service Union President John Pinder says morale is low among court reporters after yet another delay in promised promotions. Pinder accused officials of deliberately dragging their feet on the promotions of stenographers. He said those promotions have been delayed, although they were given financial clearance. He said that's because all performance appraisals for reporters had not been completed.
Disappointed that the career court reporters, those who have been working for the public service for a number of years, haven't seen a promotion in 10 years. That exercise had been promised should have been taking place during this budget, which dies the end of this month.
Pinder warned the judiciary would suffer the consequences if promotion deadlines for 18 stenographers employed by the government are not met.
If it is not resolved, there are going to be some consequences.
In a report completed in April, British consultant Ben Yallop said the court reporters presently feel undervalued, and although the unit is performing well, this was likely affecting performance. On the heels of yesterday's Labor Day celebrations, trade unionists say there are still a number of injustices happening against workers in the Bahamas that need to be addressed. President of the National Congress of Trade Unions, Jennifer Isaacs-Dotson, said issues like redundancies and the rate at which industrial agreements are being finalized need serious attention.
The ability of the employer to fire employees without cause, I think that's a piece in our legislation that we really need to look at. It's really unfair to the worker to be terminated without cause. The long periods of time that it takes to get industrial agreements signed and, well, negotiated and then signed is a major issue for a number of unions. It just takes too long. It takes 2 to 3 years to get an industrial agreement signed, which means that you would have already, when you sign it, you've already lived 2 or 3 years of the contract. So you may only actually live truly or have any time with the contract. You may spend 2 years actually living the contract to really find out what major issues there are.
She said employers are now using new tactics to take advantage of Bahamian workers.
The problem is right now in the industrial environment that we're in, we see that employers are using new tactics with employees. You find that you have a lot of contractual workers, you have a lot of temporary workers. So these new styles or categories of employment are being employed by employers to ensure that they cut cost. So you will find that employees are now being hired for very short periods. They're being let go and then brought back into the workplace. So in that way, they don't have to pay any benefits to them. They're not entitled to any insurance, those kinds of things. And that is something that the trade union movement has now have to reshift their thinking